Hi, welcome back, my dear students. So, in this lecture, we're going to talk a little bit about the module. Now, this is a word, a object, a feature of Node that you are going to be seeing a lot, not only in this course, but in other courses and in other applications. I want to show it to you right away so that way you know, you have an idea on what I'm going to be explaining about. So, I'm going to execute this file with Node and look at it. I want you to pay attention to it. So you see that this is has an uppercase and it says module here, and it's an object. It has properties. The ID is the root, which is the dot. Exports is the object that we are going to be speaking about or doing and using 99.9% of the time. This object inside, and it's a property, but this property has an object assigned to it. This is the exports that we are going to be using most of the time and what you're going to be seeing. Everything else you're not going to see anywhere else. It's very rare to see any of this data. Okay, so why is this important? Well, let me show you. If we do module that exports that title, of course we can add things to it because it is a what? It's an object. And if I execute this, you can see, sorry about that. Let's just come here and say exports. And this is export as well. You can see now that we are displaying the data there that we have assigned to this exports object. Not only that, but you can keep adding new data to it. Okay? And you can come here and you can see the next data. And those are properties that you add to it. But you can also add functions to it. Okay? And for example, we can add a function here, and this function is just going to say hello, for example. Console.log, hello. And now, of course, if I do this, you're going to see the function there in the property. But if I wanted to use that function, I would need to type in, let's just put calculation, cal for calculations. And here I will have to put the name of that function with parentheses. And now if we do that, we can see that it says hello with a W. Okay? Pretty cool stuff. Now you might be thinking, okay, this is great, Edwin, but why is this so important? Well, this is one of the ways that we export data out in Node. Remember that this export is available in any file without actually including it or doing anything to it. It's just available with Node. Okay? For example, let's say you had some type of functionality somewhere. Let's call this lib.js. Let's say you have some functions here. How do you acquire this function, right? Well, we could write the function down, right? This is basically JavaScript. Write the function down, calculation, and it's going to take a value of 1, then a value 2. Now, how in the world do we get this function out of here with Node? Let's just add this value 1 and value 2 together. Could we go into another file? Let's go here. Let's take all this out. And let's do const, which is a constant in Node. Very similar to other programming languages, right? You can, add stuff to it, but you can't change your original. You can't redefine or reassign values to it. So we say that and we require the file, right? We could do that. Require dot no, actually dot, because when we are requiring our own files, we have to say, hey, this is actually in the root of my directory, and then / where that function is or that file is, right? We require that, and we can come here and say, well, I want to execute that function node, and now this is going to give us some type of error. It says cow is not a function. You cannot do that. Okay, We can do that like that either. Okay, so in order for us to get this out, we will need to say module dot exports and put this object, wrap everything in this object like that. Okay, now of course this object needs to be, this needs to be formatted differently inside here, because now we are inside an object, right? So we create this property, and all we do is assign that function to that property like that, as you can see. Everything's done with properties because we are inside an object, and of course we close it there. Now we can come here, and now we got to pass a value, right? Because this function takes two values. I'm gonna say 100 plus 233. Don't ask me where I get that number. One thing that I wanted to make you aware is that automatically, and I forgot to tell you this, automatically you are requiring that file, that whole file becomes the module exports object. Okay, so this would be actually this object, right? And now we have that big object, and now we can get that out of there like this dot cal, because now this is the property of that object. Okay, so now if I go and do node helpers, you can get the result 333. Okay, pretty simple stuff to do, guys. Pretty simple. And this is what we're going to be doing in a lot of lectures. Not only a lot of lectures, but you know, when we are building applications, this is what we use to export data. And I just wanted you to make you know, be aware of this module object that we got globally available to us. Okay, so again, you can come here and create property and assign some value. Make sure you put your comma because this is an object, right? And then here you got that big object when you're requiring that whole file, and here you can just echo out. I say echo out, log this to the console by getting that value out. You see some value. Okay, pretty simple. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next lectures.